let's get more on this minimum wage decision handed down by the Fair Work Commission. A 5.75% increase, and that will apply to all workers in this cohort on minimum wage award rises. It is a slightly bigger increase as well, which we'll talk through on those on the national minimum wage. Joining me live now is Australian Chamber of Commerce and Industry CEO Andrew McCullough. Thanks for your time. Good day for minimum wage workers struggling to make ends meet.
Well, I think a bad day for business, unfortunately. So the increase is certainly higher than we were submitting. Our concern is that it does add significantly to costs for small businesses in particular, so those that are paying these award wages. And as you've mentioned, the increase for the minimum wage is actually substantially higher again. So it's outflanking inflation by quite a bit at 8.6%. I think the Commission's been a bit tricky in the way they've explained this. I think that is quite an increase. It's over the odds.
So it's this sort of transitory group. I don't want to have our viewers' eyes glaze over and talk about C14 versus C13 category. But pulling out a bit, if we look at this decision and the minimum wage versus inflation, it's gone backwards for the past 2 years. Where we're getting to with today's decision is actually something in real terms back to where we were at about 2021. So isn't...
Well, the decision last year, was quite strong, and at the time, compared to where inflation was, I think there was a broad matching there. The Commission has said in the longer term, of course, these wage increases, these award wages, should be going up in line with inflation plus productivity. I think that's entirely legitimate. But we've got to get back down to that 2 to 3% target band that the Reserve Bank has, and we're well above that. Now, any increase, particularly any increase much above 4%, is going to add back into those costs. It's going to make it very difficult for small businesses to square things off. They're under a lot of pressure. They're facing cost increases across the board. It's difficult to pass that on further in prices, but unfortunately, many of them are going to have to do that as a result of this decision.
Can you point to that direct link? Because the President pointed out of the Fair Work Commission that last year, when you talk about overall wage increases across the country, so the total bill, for want of a better word, of wage increases, were about 10% of that was this decision.
So technically that's what he's saying. The issue is it adds into the base. Obviously, we do have an ongoing tight labour market situation, but this is going to make it much harder to sustain employment at the strong level. So for small businesses now making hiring decisions, it makes it harder for them. It does increase the risk that this passes through into consumer prices. If that keeps inflation higher for longer, it puts more pressure on the Reserve Bank. And the Reserve Bank has made that very clear in all of the comments that they've made publicly and the testimony that they've given here in Senate estimates in the past week or so.
So is there anything, can you specifically point to anything about the decision today which directly contradicts the Reserve Bank?
The Reserve Bank has said we need to be cautious, that we need to be responsible in those wage outcomes. Anything really above 4% adds into that pressure.
But that last bit there, that's not the Reserve Bank, is it?
No,
it didn't say anything above 4%.
I'm sure the Governor has spoken about this figure around 4%. And indeed, even in the questioning of the Fair Work Commission President during the process of their hearings in recent times, he also has commented on that. So that's our analysis, that above...
But has Phil Lowe said that explicitly, that anything above 4% here would be inflationary?
I believe that number is something the Reserve Bank have highlighted in their analysis. So let's go back and check the record on that. But certainly that's our analysis. Our submission was for an increase of 3.5% plus the increase in superannuation, 4%. We believe that's responsible.
Could this mean maybe you're running a cafe or a bar, you throw a few more QR codes out there and take some wait staff off?
Look, I think it is obviously going to put a lot of pressure on those small business owners. So whether it's in retail, whether it's in restaurants, hospitality, we're seeing a lot of pressure coming through in the construction industry at the moment, manufacturing, right across smaller businesses. They are facing pressure on those costs. So,
are you being told anything like that, though? That just strikes me as one obvious example of how you might reduce staff. Is that the sort of thing businesses
Look,
are saying they'll do, they are doing, they will do?
Absolutely. It will affect hiring decisions. We're starting to see that in the survey data that we're getting. The labour market remains tight, but certainly the impact of the interest rate increases today is impacting demand. It's flowing through into the retail sector. They're struggling with the cost increases they've already faced. We don't want to add to that pressure further.
Andrew McCullough, thanks for your time.
Thank you.